What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and yeah, we're through, but I'm not gonna be all like, yeah, woo, yeah, we're through to the next round because it just wasn't that much of a challenge for us today. Not saying anything against Newcastle, not saying they're not a decent side or a good side or anything like that. They just didn't really test us today. And I think the biggest thing for Newcastle was they started off the game very well. They started off with a lot of energy and fight and pushing us, pressuring us, create a few chances, but they just don't have that finishing quality to finish those chances that they created. And so eventually, we got the first goal. From there on, it was just smooth sailing. They did have a couple late first half chances, but second half they came out and didn't have that same energy, and we just kind of easily handled the game from there on out. So it wasn't the biggest test in the world for us, so that's why I'm not getting way too excited about this. And on top of that, there were a few problems. We did have some issues that we need to discuss, especially considering how we've been performing. We need to have some better performances. And so let's get right into it with the starting lineup from Conte. It was pretty typical. I do have a few problems here and there, but first of all, keeper. Courtois is still out, so Caballero is in goal. Back three, kind of typical. Christensen in the middle, Cahill and Rudiger flanking him. Alonso and Zappacosta left and right wing back. Conte and Drinkwater in the midfield, and then Hazard, Batshuayi, and Pedro up top. First of all, things I like. I like seeing Batman get another start because I think he needs to have a few more starts if he wants to start getting momentum, if he wants to start getting better. We can't just keep sitting him on the bench and expect him to get better. That's the big thing that I think a lot of people aren't really thinking about when they see him perform and see him, oh, he's just not good enough. Well, he hasn't been playing this season. He's got a couple FA Cup starts, a couple League Cup starts, but he hasn't really been playing a whole lot. And so it's hard for a player to just constantly sit the bench and then come out expected to play after not playing for 3 weeks and then just expected to be fantastic. That's difficult to do. And so he's finally gotten a few games since Murata's been out, a couple with injury and then the suspension as well. He's now got a couple starts under his belt, and so it's nice to see him starting to get to play more. I also like getting to see just that back three. I like Espilicueta getting a rest. I do wish Rudiger would have gotten a rest because I thought he looked pretty drained against Arsenal in the midweek, but he did okay today. So it was fine. But yeah, seeing Espilicueta get a rest is great. But there are a few problems with this. One, Alonso's still on the field, and he just hasn't been looking good. And I think a rest probably would have helped him a little bit. But problem is we don't have anybody. We do have some youth players. I think Sterling could probably play there, or Zappacosta could play there and put Sterling on the right wing back. But he's not giving him a shot, and we still haven't gone and gotten a left wing back. I know we were talking to a left back at Roma, but the deal's not done yet. And so Alonso's still constantly playing. Yes, he did pop up with a great goal today, but we need another option there. We need something that's either going to spark him into really good performances or just give us something different. But yeah, the two wingbacks, I just think we lack some pace on the sides, and it hurt us the first half. When Newcastle was coming at us with pace, neither one of them could deal with it, and that's why we couldn't really create a whole lot in the first opening, 15, 20 minutes. It wasn't coming off because they didn't have the speed to keep up with what Newcastle was throwing at us. In the midfield, I don't really mind that pairing, and then up top, I think that's a great front three, although I would like to see somebody, one of the youngsters possibly get a start. Now, I do kind of understand the thinking, let's go ahead and put the game away and then let the youngsters come on later. I do get that style of thinking. I completely understand why he went with a strong starting lineup. But at the same time, I feel like if you've got, maybe take Pedro off and start Hazard and then let Pedro come on later and start maybe Musonda, maybe Hudson-Odoi. I feel like that may help us just because I think our youngsters can help our starting lineup as well. I think they do provide something, but they're just not getting those starts, and I don't know. Like I said, I understand the one side of it, but I also think that they deserve to get a few chances here as well. So anyway, on to individual performances. Caballero, pretty good. Made some good saves. I think he's definitely stepping up as far as being the backup keeper. Didn't really get to play a whole lot at the beginning, first half of the season, and now all of a sudden has had to be thrown in for the past several games. And he's done well with his chance. He had a few scary moments against Brighton, but for the most part, he's done well. And today had to come up with a few saves in the first half to keep us with a clean sheet and sort of keep the momentum going into halftime. And so he did his job well. I think the only problem I really have with him is just it feels like our back line is a little bit disorganized with him in there compared to Courtois. I think Courtois does a little bit better job of sort of keeping the back line in sync. Not necessarily he does a fantastic job. I mean, we still have some leadership problems even with Courtois on the field. But I think our back line sometimes is a little bit out of sync with Caballero just because he doesn't play very often. So that would be the only problem I have with him. But I think he did well with his chance today. Rudiger on the right side looked a lot better than he did against Arsenal. Obviously didn't set up any goals today. But just did well defensively, did well with the forward ball as well, finding that long switch, which typically he does very well. So, yeah, overall I thought he played well today, step up from the Arsenal game, and we needed that. We needed him to step up because we couldn't have another performance like that against Newcastle today. Christensen in the middle did very well. Once again, very solid, anchoring the back three, very calm and composed on the ball. So, typical Christensen. And then Cahill on the left side, kind of back to the Cahill that I've not liked in the past. Just on the ball, too slow, too languid, nearly giving it away sometimes, not communicating with the other back line. Supposed to be the captain, the leader back there, but there's disorganization. He's running into Rudiger because he's not communicating. Yeah. The one problem I just kept noticing, though, is it feels like his last option in desperate situations is just to kick it, just to whack it. No sense of where he's kicking it. I'm just going to whack it out of here. Two instances that just stood out to me. One, Caballero plays it to him off a goal kick, which he played it to him. The ref said, pull it back. I don't know why. But then he played it to him again, and then Cahill just takes like 2 touches and then just boots it downfield. I'm just thinking, Caballero can kick it downfield. Come on, Cahill. And then there's another one where he picks up the ball and the guy's charging him, and all he's got to do is just pick his head up and see, all right, so he's coming there. Let me either get it away from him or let me just take a touch around him as he comes flying through. But instead, he just blasts it right into him with no sense of what he's doing. So, I don't know. I realize he's been out with injuries, so that probably set him back a little bit. But I am disappointed because I've come to expect better out of Cahill from the couple games right before he got injured. I thought he played pretty well. He was better on the ball, better defensively, and then today things just sort of fell apart. Missed a header that nearly led to a goal at the end of the first half. So I don't know what happened today, but he was off. Zappacosta on the right side gave the ball away too many times, didn't help us on the attack very often. His crosses were just kind of dumped in, hoping for the best. I don't rate him very highly anymore. He started off pretty well. Started off with, he's got moves. He's pretty quick. He does well in the attack to get in and find that space. And now he's just sort of become a non-factor. He's out on the right side, doesn't really help us very often, and just not good defensively. We need somebody who's going to help us out defensively, especially on that left or our right side, because we face some teams that have a very strong left side. Man City's got some good pace down that side. Liverpool have good pace down that side. Man, you even can, if Martial's playing, got some good pace. Now have Sanchez there too. So we need somebody who's going to help out that right-sided full or center back, and Zappacosta doesn't. He gets up in the attack. He doesn't really get back. So I'm seeing more and more that he's got a lot of flaws that are going to hurt us in the future. And today was even worse because he kept giving away the ball. So, and then on the left side, Alonso, like I said, he just hasn't been good enough recently, and it's just not getting any better. Obviously, the free kick is really good, but we can't just have somebody out there to take free kicks. We need players who are going to contribute more than just free kicks. And so I'm waiting to see what else he's going to do, if he's going to try to up the tempo, up his game at all, but he's just not. It's staying the same. It's the same old kind of slow passing. When he gets up in the final third, He's trying to do too much on the ball instead of just finding a quick pass. He's not reading passes from other people. He's not really helping us out defensively. I don't see the benefit of having him out there, and I feel like we need to go get somebody to replace him or get somebody that's going to make him realize, oh, now I need to work hard because somebody's about to take my spot. Into the midfield, Conte, did well today. He gave away a few passes here and there, but for the most part, he worked hard again, shut down the midfield as much as he could, and frankly, he was kind of on his own today. So I think that's a bit harder whenever your other midfielder is just not really giving you much. So I think he did well. Drinkwater had issues today. A lot of misplaced balls, a lot of random shots that he had no business taking, and then defensively didn't really help us out that much. So I don't know. He had an off game today, and it really showed. First half, obviously second half we had control of the game, so not really that big a deal. But first half, it was coming off of him most of the time. He just give away the ball, and then all of a sudden they're in, or they're starting their counterattack. So I feel like he needs to do something different. He needs to find something that makes him stand out and makes him earn his spot on the field instead of just being, oh, you're a midfielder, so get out there. And that's part of the problem with selling all of your midfielders except for, the two that helped you last year. I mean, you just don't have any other options. Conte obviously plays well. Fabregas, though, is having an off year. Bakayoko's not been helping us that much. Drinkwater started to drop off. Well, you've sold Matic, you've sold Chalobah, you've loaned out every other midfielder you have. You've got a problem. So, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do, but as long as all of our other three midfielders, aside from Conte, just continue to have these poor games, we're going to struggle in the midfield. And then up front, to the front three, Pedro started off the first half pretty poor, giving away the ball, dribbling too much. And the second half stepped it up a little bit. Didn't really provide that much, but he did pretty well. He did well to combine, did well to find good passes. He did find a good pass on the first goal, picking out Hazard on the forward ball. So, he just has these moments where he kind of fades in and out of games. He does well and then doesn't do well, and that's kind of become Pedro for me. So Hazard played well again. Glad he got to get a bit of a rest because he does deserve it. But, just constantly a threat, putting himself in dangerous positions. A little bit slower today, but I think part of that is because he's played so much recently. So hopefully, he'll step it back up in the midweek game and just get back into it and start providing what I've become used to seeing Hazard provide. And then Batshuayi up top, probably the best game I've seen from him so far. Just very strong. He really turned it up in the second half. First half, he had moments here and there, did well to be in good positions for both of the goals that he scored. But second half is where he started just moving around so much more, finding good spaces. He was strong on the ball, nice little flicks and passes. Just a lot better from him all around. And so I feel like today has probably been the best game we've seen so far. And like I said, a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's played more. He's actually gotten time on the field. And I feel like you can really grow into that spot the more you play. And so, yeah, we need to start looking at, okay, let's give him more time. Let's give him a chance to show what he can do. Because whenever you do, this is what can happen. He can score 2 goals. He can provide help for the front three. So, yeah, I don't know why he's not getting more of a chance, but I hope from today's game and even from some of what we saw against Norwich, I think he's shown that he has the ability. He's just got to get enough time to grow into that. And then for the for the 3 subs, first of all, let's talk about the subs. Barkley comes on for Hazard. Not a bad one, just because Barkley does need a bit of time. He's coming in, hasn't really played a whole lot, so yeah, the fitness has got to get better. But I think it's just coming a little too late, And part of that is because we hadn't scored yet. I think Conte was waiting for it to be 3-0 because then it's a bit more safe. But at the same time, I feel like you got to make a few changes here and there. I thought Drinkwater or Zappacosta or Alonso should have been one of the 3 to come off. But of course, typical for Conte, the 3 problem players stay on the field. Thankfully, it didn't hurt us today. But yeah, so that sub wasn't a bad one. I just feel like it's coming really, really late. But he came on and just didn't really show that much. And I'm still wondering how much of it is fitness and how much of it is he's just not that good. I do know he's pretty inconsistent just from what I've seen from him in Everton. And I kind of seen that over the past 2 games too. The inconsistency, the poor touches here and there, and all of a sudden, we're in trouble. So I don't know. I still don't rate him that highly. I'm glad we got him for such a low fee, so it's not like a total waste. But I want to see more out of him. I want to see him start to produce more. And then the final two, honestly, don't have any problem with. Ampadu came on for Conte. Not really sure why Conte and not Drinkwater, but if Conte can get a rest and we're up 3-0, I'll take it. But he came on, did pretty well. Found Pedro through on a really nice through ball over the top, and just looks like he should be playing more. I've been asking the question, why isn't he playing more? Because he does deserve it from his performances alone. But I have no say in this. It's all Conte. So, but hopefully, he can continue to perform as well as he's doing, because he does deserve more time on the field. And I'm hoping Conte will see that and say, yeah, let's give him a chance. And then, of course, the last one was a debut for Calum Hudson-Odoi, which very, very excited for. I've been asking, why isn't he getting any chances on the field? Because he looked like a good youngster. I've seen him play at the youth level. Obviously saw him play in the U17 World Cup, I think. I'm pretty sure it was 17s. And they won, the U17 World Cup. So, I don't know why he's not getting more of a chance, but he finally gets his debut today. Had some really nice touches and some really good passes as well. So, only had 10, 12 minutes, though, with the stoppage time to show what he could do. And at that point, the pace of the game had kind of slowed down a little bit. So, I don't know. It's pretty hard whenever you're coming on with so little time to do something fantastic. So I'd like to see him get a bit more of a chance. I'm hoping maybe we can get somebody a bit lower, but we're not Man City, so chances are we're probably going to get somebody pretty difficult in the next round of the FA Cup. So, I'll be curious to see what's going to happen with him, if he's able to get some more time, if he's able to get a few more chances here and there. I think some of our youngsters do deserve it more than some of the players that we've got. I think Ampadu deserves more time than David Luiz has been getting. I think players like Sterling probably deserve more chances than Alonso and Zappacosta have been getting. But like I said, I don't have a say in that. It's all Conte's decisions, and frankly, this season I haven't really been agreeing with him. But for what it's worth, he did make some good substitutions today. Let some of the young players get a chance, and in my opinion, all three of them took their chance. They did, except for Barkley, who had moments here and there, but mostly was just kind of eh. I think Ampadu, though, and Hudson-Odoi, I think they both showed a few glimpses of what they can do if you give them a bit more time at the senior level. So I'm hoping he'll see that and possibly give them a chance to prove themselves. But that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this game? Let me know what you can talk about and discuss, all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Chelsea reviews. I'll see you guys in the next game. Peace out.